You ever wonder why some things just blow up? You know, a song, a book, a movie becomes this massive, runaway hit, while other stuff that seems just as good, maybe even better, just vanishes. Is it really all about being the best, or is there something else at play? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprising science behind what makes a hit.
There's this legendary quote from screenwriter William Goldman about Hollywood. He said, "Nobody knows anything." And what he meant was that even the experts, the studio heads with all the money and all the data, they're basically just throwing darts in the dark when it comes to predicting the next blockbuster.
And for a long time, that felt like the end of the story. Success is just random, a total lottery. But what if I told you that's not quite right? See, while Goldman was definitely onto something, there's a deeper, stranger reason for all this unpredictability, and it's something we can actually understand. To really get to the bottom of this, we have to look at this brilliant experiment by a sociologist named Matthew Salganek. He wanted to figure out what really matters more, pure quality or social influence, hype. So he designed something called the Music Lab, which was basically a way to rewind history and play it again, to see if it turns out the same.
The setup was so simple, it was genius. Thousands of people were invited to this website with a bunch of new songs from totally unknown bands. You could listen to them, and if you liked the song, you could download it. Pretty straightforward, right? But here is where the magic happens. Salganek secretly split everybody into different groups, creating what he called parallel worlds. In one world, the independent one, people just saw a list of songs. That's it. Their choices were based purely on what they thought sounded good. But in 8 other social influence worlds, people could see a download counter next to each song, showing how popular it was with other people in their world.
So, this is the big question, right? If you run the world over and over again, does the best song always rise to the top, or does seeing what other people like completely change the game?
Well, the results were just wild. It turns out that knowing what other people like doesn't just influence us a little bit. It has this huge and deeply random effect on what becomes a hit.
Get this. Take one song, Lockdown by a band called 52 Metro. In one of those parallel worlds, it was the #1 smash hit, the biggest song on the platform. But in another world, the exact same song finished 40th out of 48, a total flop. Nothing changed about the song itself, only the social world it was born into.
So what's going on here is this powerful force called social influence. See, if a few people just by random chance downloaded a song early on, it looked a little more popular. That tiny signal made other people more likely to check it out, which made it even more popular, and boom, you get a snowball effect. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And because those first few choices were random, every single world created its own unique set of hits.
Okay, so this brings us all the way back to those Hollywood experts. If success is so random, what are they even doing? Well, Matthew Salganek tells this great story about showing his research to a TV network executive, and it perfectly explains what the experts are really good at.
After seeing the Music Lab results, the executive just nodded. He said, "I can predict failure, but I can't predict success." And that just nails it, doesn't it? Experts are fantastic at spotting the stuff that is guaranteed to fail. What they can't do is tell you which of the good ideas is going to be the one that becomes a cultural phenomenon.
This chart shows you exactly what he means. Look at the low-quality songs. They almost always do poorly. No surprise there. But now look at the high-quality songs. Sure, on average, they do way better, but their individual success is all over the map. Any one of them could be a #1 smash or a total dud, just like our song Lockdown.
So if the world is this random, how are we supposed to make any decisions? Does this mean we should just give up? No, not at all. It just means we need to start thinking differently. And frankly, asking much better questions.
The very first thing we have to do is stop telling ourselves what are called just-so stories to explain things that were probably just random. Like a movie studio saying, "Oh, we never release rom-coms in October. We tried it once and it bombed." The reality is, it probably bombed because of bad luck, not because there's some ironclad law of the universe. Learning the wrong lesson from a random outcome is such an easy trap to fall into.
So instead of asking the impossible question, will this be a hit, we just need to reframe it. A much more powerful and useful question to ask is this good enough that it could take off? See the difference? That shifts your focus from trying to predict the future, which is impossible, to just assessing the basic quality and potential of an idea, which is something you can actually do.
And this idea has huge implications for how teams should work together. If you want to get a real, accurate read on an idea's potential, you have to get people to judge it independently first.
If you throw everyone into a room right away, the first person who speaks confidently can set off a social influence cascade, and you lose all that precious, independent judgment. So, have everyone write down their thoughts or vote before the big discussion starts.
Now, it's really easy to hear all of this and think that quality doesn't matter at all, but that is absolutely not true. Salganik ran another version of the experiment where he tried to game the system. He went in and artificially made the low-quality songs look super popular. And guess what? It didn't work. People clicked, they listened, but they didn't download. Quality is like a baseline reality check that social influence can't overcome.
And even worse, trying to manipulate those popularity signals actually hurt the entire system. In the world where the researchers faked the rankings, the total number of downloads for all songs dropped by 25%. It's like when people sense that the signals they're getting aren't trustworthy, they just check out completely.
So what is the big takeaway here? In any system where luck plays a huge role, you have to learn to judge the quality of a decision separately from the quality of its outcome. You can make a brilliant, well-reasoned choice that fails because of bad luck, and you can make a terrible choice that succeeds because of good luck. The real key is to focus on your process. Build a sound way to evaluate quality and potential, because in the long run, that is the only thing you can actually control.